विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम न सोचे हमें क्या मिला है, हम ये सोचे किया क्या है अर्पण। फूल खुशियों के बाटे सभी को, सबका जीवन ही बन जाए मधुबन। अपनी करुणा का जल तू बहा के, कर दे पावन हर एक मन का कोना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे भूल कहीं कोई भूल होना। इतनी शक्ति हमें ही न दाता, मन का विश्वास कमजोर होना। हम चले नेक रास्ते पे, हमसे
Thank you, Dr. Neha. And now it's time to invite Dr. Aroka Swami, President of PACE Tamil Nadu chapter, to kindly deliver the welcome address. Over to Dr. Swami.
It is a great pleasure and privilege for me to welcome you all to the 15 days long national level workshop on Naac accreditation process for colleges of education. May I take this opportunity to extend all of you warm greetings on behalf of the Principals Association of Colleges of Education space. The most respected 12th day workshop resource person, Professor Dr. S. Mani, Professor and Head, Department of Education Planning and Administration in Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai. Respected Professor Dr. Shivpal Singh, President, PACE, Principal Association Colleges of Education. Respected Professor Dr. Devanandan, National General Secretary, PACE India, Principals Association of Colleges of Education, and Principal KPBM College of Education, Kerala. Respected Dr. Vincent Cyril, Secretary, PACE Tamil Nadu chapter, who is going to introducing the today's resource person. Respected Dr. Susila Narang, member, PACE, who is going to deliver the vote of thanks today's workshop. Respected all the national executive members and state level executive members of Principals Association of Colleges of Education. Respected all the principals and their participants from various institutions and universities all over India. Here we are very fortunate to have a man stuffed with resources, humor sense, honesty, and hard work. He is none other than our resource person, Professor Dr. S. Mani, Professor and Head, Department of Educational Planning and Administration in Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai. He is going to handling today workshop session entitled as sixth criteria, governance, leadership, and management. He is opening not out batsman in the 12th day workshop on Naac accreditation process for colleges of education. He was more energetic and enthusiastic in guiding all participants in the participation of Naac accreditation process for colleges of education. He was very patient enough to clear our doubts at any time. He is well known for his social qualities like tolerance, patience, and cooperation. May I request all the participants to join me in offering a warm-hearted welcome to our resource person, Professor Dr. S. Mani, Professor and Head, Department of Educational Planning and Administration in Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai. We welcome you, sir, to this workshop. Warm welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Arakasamy. Thank you, Dr. Arakasamy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Welcome.
And now I request Dr. Vincent Cyril to kindly introduce today's session. Over to Dr. Cyril.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon to one and all. Today, we are on the 12th day of our workshop on the Naac accreditation process for colleges of education, organized by PACE, the Principals Association for Colleges of Education. Today, we are going to discuss the criteria 6, which is governance, leadership, and management. by Dr. S. Mani, former professor and head, Tamil Nadu Teacher Education University, Chennai. On behalf of PACE Tamil Nadu chapter, I would like to introduce our resource person, Professor Dr. S. Mani. Professor S. Mani, former professor and head, Department of Educational Planning and Administration in Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University since 2014. He has completed his successful teaching career last week. Sir is having 32 years of teaching experience as a teacher educator, enriched with 23 years of service in a reputed college of education in a capacity of associate professor and 7 years of service in Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University in the capacity of professor and head Department of Educational Planning and Administration. His basic discipline is history education and also done a postgraduate diploma in higher education. Under his able guidance, 7 PhD scholars were awarded and he served as a co-guide for 3 PhD scholars and currently guiding 8 PhD scholars. He has also guided 25 MPhil scholars and 47 ML scholars. Having gained adequate knowledge on the development of teacher education, his contribution of various bodies, especially NCTE from 2019, representing the state of Tamil Nadu in SRC NCTE and actively participating the SRC NCTE meetings. Further, he has contributed open educational resources to NCTE portal. He served as a member of BEd and MEd 3-year degree program committee to suggest the consideration of candidates who have qualified the BEd and MEd 3-year degree program for the position of teachers. Now serving as a member for the 1-year BEd curriculum framework and the syllabus committee of NCTE. He serves as an expert member in various bodies as the Senate, Academic Council, Board of Studies, Staff Selection Committee, UGC Autonomy Review Committee, NCTE Visiting Team, University Inspection Commission, IGNOU BEd Admission, Research Advisory Committee, Curriculum Revision of SCRT, Tamil Nadu, University Nominee to Governing Body of Colleges, Research Forum of Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University, Associate Editor, Member of Editorial Board and Academic Journals, and PhD Thesis Adjudicator, Examiner for PhD Vios Examination. To his credit, he has been awarded the best 3 times teacher educator. He has participated in many state, national, and international conference, seminars, workshops, and he presented various research articles and keynote address in many seminars and workshops. He has also published many research papers in a reputed journal and international, both national and international level. Being an eminent scholar, he has been invited a resource person for various orientation and refresher courses conducted by UGC HRTC and faculty development program in many institutions. On behalf of PACE, once again, I welcome our eminent resource person, Professor Dr. S. Mani. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now the podium is open for you, sir. I humbly request you and invite you to deliver your lecture on criteria 6, that is governance, leadership, and management. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. At the outset, I would like to thank the Principals Association of Colleges of Education, PACE, for organizing such a very wonderful and a relevant national level workshop with regard to the Naac accreditation process for teacher education institutions, that is colleges of education. Friends, I deem it a great privilege to be a part of this national level program, which is being started on 20th of last month, and I believe that this is going to be finished in another 3-4 days. On 4th August, I think it is going to be finished. It is very rare to see such a kind of a very lengthy program. Perhaps this may be a kind of a mega program, which is being organized by the cooperation, support, and encouragement of the teacher educators and others who are associated with the Principals Association of Colleges of Education across the country.
चाय बना रहे हैं
And I am so much indebted to the organizers, particularly the president of the association, Dr. Shivapal Singh, the vice president, Dr. Sobhakadi Gulavani Mega Vishram, the national level general secretary and my friend, Dr. Devanandan, the joint secretary, Dr. Gangadhar, the treasurer of this organization, Dr. Dasarada Singh Chauhan, and executive members, particularly Dr. Sarabit Kaur, who has been very actively taking part in this program, and she is comparing the entire process. And Dr. S. Arokesami, my friend, good friend, the executive member of this space, Dr. S.K. Trivedi, and other members of this space. I am very grateful to all of you for giving this wonderful opportunity to share some of my views for such a very relevant and needed area. Of course, it may be the last criteria among the 7 criteria, but still every criteria has its own significance, its importance, and its values. So in nutshell, let me say that I am so much blessed to be with you on the first day of my retirement. Just relieved from my duties yesterday evening after serving around 80 years in Tamil Nadu Teachers Education University as Professor and Head Department of Educational Planning and Administration. And the first day of my retirement life, I feel it a great privilege bestowed upon me by the PACE for giving me a very good platform to share some of my ideas with regard to criterion 6 on the Naac assessment and accreditation process. And once again, I express my sincere gratitude to all the organizers and my best wishes to all the participants who have joined in this platform Pan India. Wish you all good luck. Now let me present my views in the form of a PowerPoint presentation. Kindly stop me whenever you have any point of clarification to be clarified with me, and don't hesitate. With the permission of the organizers, may I have the privilege of asking any point of clarification at any moment, if at all, if you need, that is essential. If not, I think there is a slot allotted at the end, maybe the last 10 to 15 minutes, you can clarify your doubts with me with regard to criterion 7. Now, let me have the honor to present criterion 7 one by one. Thank you very much. Let me start. I'm just trying to share my PPT. Ma'am, I am disabled, ma'am.
No, sir, you are able to share. I have made you as a co-host.
Okay.
Yeah, you can share now.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, is it visible now?
Yeah, your screen is coming out. Right.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Fine. So the 6th criteria, which is dealing with governance, leadership, and management. Yeah, in this, I would like to touch upon the various aspects that are dealing with the governance of the institution, the leadership of the institution, and management of the institution. So we will be focusing on the 3 important aspects. And before I just plunge into the 3 important core aspects of the 6th criteria, I would like to just brief about the core values of the Naac accreditation. First of all, I would like to say that we are living in a very different world, and the higher education institutions environment is very much changing. It is so dynamic, and particularly the development of science and technology, and more importantly, the technology has brought drastic changes in the educational institution, the environment of the higher learning institutions. And therefore, the NAC wanted to check the validity and credibility of various aspects which are taking place in the higher education institutions, both internally as well as externally, and for which they have developed a value framework. Based on the value framework, the NAC is expecting every teacher education institution should contribute, including the other higher learning institutions, to the development of the nation. So the national development is considered to be the prime or the major focus of the higher education institutions. And NAC is expecting every teacher education institution to contribute to the national development in terms of resource development and capacity building of individuals, society, and development of economy. On the whole, the national development is expected to be achieved by providing quality higher education, and more specifically with respect to teacher education, to improve the quality of teacher education in our country, thus expecting quality students and quality future generation. Therefore, it is one of the important core value to be kept in mind, which is kept in mind by the NAC, that every teacher education institution should serve for the cause of justice, ensuring equity and increasing access to higher education system that will indirectly or directly will contribute to the national development. The second important core aspects, the core value that NAC is expecting to be contributed by the teacher education institution, especially, of course, along with the higher education institutions, is fostering global competencies among students. As you all know pretty well, that our primary stakeholders are our students. And just by providing the theoretical knowledge or information to our students is not suffice. Therefore, NAC is expecting the quality of education should be intertwined with some kind of skill development to our stakeholder, our primary stakeholder, that is our student community. Because every student should be a useful citizen, they should become a useful citizen for our nation, for our society. Therefore, the skill development in students, which is conceived as the major part of the human resource development and their intellectual development. Therefore, the higher education institutions are expecting to develop certain skills that are essential for their survival, for their service to the community, and their service to the nation at large and globe to a greater extent. And particularly, the students need not to develop the skills only in terms of their subject, but also there are many more skills that they are expected to develop to serve as a very useful person and to make himself or herself strive in this world to live happily, to lead their life very comfortably, because they are facing so many challenges, and those challenges are to be attacked only by when the students have the required skills in them. There are certain skills and competencies that are essentially required for a student to make them to be a happy human being, to make them to contribute something to the society and the nation. Therefore, the essential skills and competencies, the core aspects of the NAC, which is expected to be developed in students, by the teacher education institution in particular and the higher education institution in general, and for which even the higher education institution can have a collaboration with the various organizations like industries or some other NGOs or some other bodies which will help the student to develop certain competencies to meet their individual needs, social needs, national needs, and global needs. Apart from that, they should also be able to compete with the global demands of the other category of people, the challenges that they are expected to meet. Therefore, they should always be able to manage the situation, and for which a world of skilled work is to be inculcated in them or developed in them. Therefore, this is considered as the second important core value. The third one is inculcating a value system among students. As far as any system of education is concerned, it is primarily oriented towards providing some knowledge or developing certain skills. But whatever the knowledge and the skill that we are providing to our primary stakeholders, that is our student community, is not adequate unless it is not important, and it is not going to be useful unless they are loaded with some values. And particularly, our country is a very rich country in its cultural traditions, and our country is a very pluralistic and having a variety of differences in terms of its culture, and there are a lot of diversity in our society, and there are a lot of disparity in the economic and environmental conditions in terms of local, social, and national as well as universal level. Therefore, we are expected, I mean to say the higher education institutions are expected, and more specifically the teacher education institutions are expected to inculcate certain values to make the human being to be a very complete human being, and to behave and to act and to serve with some kind of value based system. That is why the Naac is insisting that every teacher education institutions should try to inculcate certain values in their students. The fourth important value is promoting the use of technology. Friends, all of us know very well that we are living in a very different world. There is no need for any detailed explanation, because there is a very wonderful experience, a God given, maybe a negative one, but at the same time, it is a learning for the entire world, the community of the entire world, how to make use of the technology during the pandemic period. So pandemic period has made everyone, including myself, to realize how to make use of the technology. The IT tools, not only for teaching, learning, evaluation, but also even to communicate the other stakeholders of our higher learning institution. And there are many advantages that we have by using the technology. So the technological innovations have been becoming a very mounting pressure on the higher learning institutions to harness such kind of facilities for an effective teaching, learning, and evaluation process. Therefore, keeping in mind about the emerging trends in the information and communication technologies, the Naac is expecting the educational institutions, particularly the teacher education institutions, and the would-be teachers and the teacher educators should make use of the maximum possible information communication technologies, both in the teaching, learning, as well in the evaluation process. And apart from that, even it is very much expected in the management system, in the leadership system, in the governance system, and therefore it is also considered as one of the important core value of Naac assessment. And friends, there are a lot of things that we need. For example, student attendance is expected nowadays. online. Teachers' attendance is expected online, and conducting examination is expected to be online, and even publication of results and awarding degrees, etc., is being done online. Therefore, the ICT enabled teaching learning evaluation process, administrative process is being given more weightage and more importance by the NAC. Therefore, it is expecting every higher learning institution to promote the use of technology in all spheres of the higher learning institutions environment with respect to the administration, with respect to managing the classroom, with respect to managing the network system with outside of their education institutions. And the fifth and foremost important core value of NAC is cost for excellence. It is nothing that every higher learning institution or higher education institution should do something very unique at the same time to sustain with the work that I have been doing for qualitative improvement and trying to reach excellence in their path of qualitative development, sustenance, implementation, reform, and so on. So, therefore, the cost for excellence is very, very important, and every institution should be a very competitive one to edge you over the other educational institutions, not only at the national level, but also at the international level. Therefore, excellence is considered to be the prime task to be considered as one of the important contributions that higher learning, every higher learning institution is expected to do for the society and the nation. Therefore, there are 5 core values have been very much kept in mind by the NAC for making every higher learning institution to be assessed in a very systematic manner, in a very organized way, and in a very objective way. Therefore, they are trying to make every higher learning institution to keep in mind about all the 5 core values for subjecting the higher learning institutions to National Assessment and Accreditation Council's assessment process. And however, there are many dimensions of assessment process have been given, and the major aspect is that the criterion that are being prescribed for the teacher education institution. Friends, this juncture, I would like to state that the criterion may have a slight variation in terms of the higher learning institutions that are being prescribed for assessment process by the National Assessment Accreditation Council. It varies from the nature of institution and it varies from the level of institution. Say, for example, at the college level, we have a difference in the criterion. Say, for example, particularly in criterion 3, and whereas this is entirely different at the university level. Therefore, the criterion that are being recommended by the NAC are more or less similar, but there is a subtle difference between the institution that are being considered something very unique or special or something very important. So, however, the teacher education institutions are concerned, there are 7 criteria being prescribed to be strictly adhered by every teacher educational institutions while they go for the NAC assessment and accreditation. And in the process of NAC assessment and accreditation process, the teacher education institution have to focus on 7 criteria. Perhaps you have been very much remembered about the past 5 important criterion that have been delivered to you through various means by various research persons and so on forth. For example, the first one is curricular aspects. The second one is teaching, learning, and evaluation. The third one is about research and outreach activities. The fourth one is infrastructure and learning resources. The fifth one is student support and progression. Sixth one, which I am going to concentrate today, is governance, leadership, and management. And probably you will have tomorrow on institutional values and best practices in terms of a lengthy discussion, deliberations to know about how to go about while you are preparing your self-study report for making your institution or getting your institution get assessed and graded. So I am here to tell you something about the sixth criteria, what is called governance, leadership, and management. And criterion 6 is being taken up as a very important and significant criterion because the effective functioning of an institution is very significant. If the institution does not function very effectively, the entire system, which is being expected to be carried out in the educational institution, will become futile. Therefore, the effective functioning of the higher learning institution is to be measured in terms of its policies that have been evolved to deal with aspect of planning human resources, recruitment process, training of human resources, performance appraisal system that is being adopted in the educational institutions, financial management, and on the whole, with respect to the leadership qualities that are being visibly, explicitly being demonstrated at the institutional level. So these are the very important aspects that are being kept in mind by the frameworkers, and they have suggested that there will be a 5 key indicators covering the governance, leadership, and management with respect to criterion 6 to be very seriously considered by every higher learning institution and more particularly the teacher education institutions. Under the criterion 6 of governance, leadership, and management, there are 5 key indicators. Perhaps you might have been overloaded if I repeat again and again about all these aspects because you have been listening to various great personalities with regard to what is criteria, what are the criteria, what is key indicators, what are the key indicators that are meant for each and every criteria, and what are the metrics, what is quantitative metric, what is qualitative metric, how many quantitative metrics are there, how many qualitative metrics are there, and so on forth. However, the criterion 6 is concerned, there are 5 indicators, namely institutional vision and leadership, strategy development and deployment, faculty empowerment strategies, financial management resource mobilization, finally, IQACA, internal quality assurance system. So these are the 5 important core aspects being kept in mind to cover or to deal with the governance, leadership, and management with respect to the 6th criterion among the 7 of the Naac assessment process. Coming to the 6.1, that is key indicator 1 of the 6th criterion, which is dealing with the institutional vision and leadership. Friends, it is very, very significant that every higher learning institutions, every higher education institutions, including the teacher education institution, should explicitly demonstrate effective leadership, and more specifically, being our teacher education institution, should give more priority for developing leadership to our student community also, because they are going to deal with the future generation. They are going to be the future builders of our nation. Therefore, we have to demonstrate so much of effective leadership at the institutional level by setting certain values in terms of helping every stakeholders of the teacher education institution to take effective part in the decision making process. And therefore, an organizational culture is to be developed. An organizational environment, a conducive environment is to be developed, and for which there are certain formal and informal arrangements are to be arranged may I request the participant to mute their microphone, please?
Participants, please mute
Dear
yourself.
participants, please mute your microphone. Well, with regard to the effective leadership, that has to be very implicitly demonstrating, indicating development of or creation of a very conducive atmosphere in terms of an institutional culture. And an institution culture is nothing but a free culture where every human being, every resource for every human resource of that institution, whether he is a teacher, a student, or an administrator, and whatnot, need to effectively take part in the decision-making process. So if that is being done, then it indicates the institution has a very clear vision and with a definite effective leadership process. Coming to the second important indicator. The second important indicator is strategy development and deployment. The strategy development and deployment is nothing but before we do any activity in our institution, and especially whether it is in terms of governance or in terms of leadership or in terms of management or even in terms of the financial aspects, whatever it might be, there should be a kind of a policy, a kind of and a very transparent policy that underlies with respect to the strategies that are to be developed to effectively implement any program, any policy in the institutional level. Therefore, there should be a different kind of policy development programs with respect to having a clear-cut objectives, a clear-cut direction, and other guidelines to reach or to attain the development or the task in terms of the academic and administrative aspects at the institutional level. Therefore, every institution should have some strategy development program policy, and that should be successfully deployed to reach the task in toto, both in terms of academic aspect as well as administrative aspect. Coming to the third important key indicator, as far as the third important key indicator is concerned, the faculty empowerment strategies being designed by or developed by the institution. Friends, there are many pillars which are really making the higher educational institution very strong enough to live long for. And the most important pillar is the teaching community and the non-teaching friends or the fraternity. And both the teaching and non-teaching staff of an institution should be given very equal opportunity to get themselves into empowered. And empowerment here, we focus more though on faculty empowerment, but it is very essential even for the non-teaching staff also. Of course, this indicator is primarily meant for the faculty empowerment, and which is suggesting that what kind of modalities that a higher educational institution or a teacher education institution is following or using to assess the performance of the teacher, to identify the strength and weakness of the teacher, and to work out certain strategies to enhance or to improve the skill on other needed capacity of the teacher educators in the teacher education institutions. And therefore, they may start right from the process of recruitment to till the process of making them to happily enjoy in the education institution until their last day of their service by providing lot of opportunities, providing so many kinds of capacity build programs, providing so much of guidance, training, and assistance, and so on forth. Therefore, The third indicator is focused on faculty empowerment strategy. If the faculty are not good, then the quality of the institution will also be not good. Therefore, it is implicit that when there is a good teacher in institution, then naturally the institution will be respected as a very good institution. Therefore, the teaching faculty's contribution, their quality reflects upon the institution. That is why I think faculty empowerment strategies is being considered by the Naac as one of the key indicator for the sixth criteria. The fourth important one, which I have been talking about, is the financial management and resource mobilization. So every teacher education institution should have a budgeting, and they should always not only have the budgeting process, but also they should go for resource mobilization. And here, friends, the resource mobilization, what I mean is not only human resource, but also the financial other aspect of resources mobilization. There are many means of resource mobilization. There are many kinds of resources that are essentially required for a higher learning institution for its building, for its development, for its growth. Therefore, a very systematic budgeting process and a very systematic planning, financial planning, and trying to work out the various strategies for improving the financial status of the institution is important. And not only by just mobilizing the resources is going to help the institution, but also every paise or every resource that are being mobilized by the institution should be profitably used, should be appropriately used, and for which we need to have income expenditure and other budgeting provisions. And apart from that, there should be some kind of an agency to check whether the resources have been properly mobilized in a right manner, whether the resources have been appropriately used without any deviation, and for which we need to have internal and external audit system. So both internal and external audit system gives a complete information with regard to the teacher education institutions, financial management and resource mobilization aspects. And this is what called the fourth important key indicator. The fifth key indicator of the sixth criterion is internal quality assurance system. Friends, the internal quality assurance system is nothing but it is a kind of self-regulated responsibility of every higher learning institution. And every institution should have its own rules and regulations. It should have some kind of a regulation that makes itself to committed to certain rights and responsibilities to various stakeholders. Therefore, the primary stakeholders' rights of getting quality education from an institution is to be meted out, and for which the institution should make all effort to provide quality education. And that quality education is to be, of course, developed or to be planned only at the institutional level. So it is an internal process, and this internal process is supposed to be planned in such a manner to meet the needs of the individual, society, nation, and global aspects. Therefore, particularly now we are talking about the sustainable development goals. Therefore, our educational system should meet some kind of quality parameters that are expected of at the global level. Therefore, any institution, any higher education institution should develop a mechanism for academic and administrative quality assurance, and for which there are two important parameters that we have to keep in mind in terms of academic audit and the administrative audit. The academic audit is nothing but an audit which is being conducted by an external agency with respect to the quality of teachers and their activities. The administrative audit is also nothing but an external external agency can be used to conduct an audit with regard to the quality of non-teaching staff and their work culture in the institution and their performance and their efficiency. So it is more or less like a performance appraisal of both the teaching and non-teaching. With respect to teaching, it is an academic audit. With respect to non-teaching and other activities of the institution, it is administrative auditing. I hope I have tried my best to give you some kind of information with regard to, or some kind of description with regard to 5 quality indicators that are very importantly governing the 6th criterion, what is called governance, leadership, and management. Now, let me move on to the most important aspect. That is, it's a general thing which most of you might have been aware about it. But however, let me just refresh you as far as the higher education institution and more particularly the teacher education institutions are assessed based on 7 criteria, which I have already told. But all the 7 criteria has 32 key indicators. There are 45 quality metrics. There are 82 quantitative metrics, thus making 127 metrics that are spread over into 7 criteria and 32 key indicators of the teacher education institution that are prescribed by the Naac. So I think now we have to very seriously think about how these qualitative metrics are being considered and how the quantitative metrics are being valued by the Naac during the process of the assessment. Now, the qualitative metrics and quantitative metrics, of course, totaling into 127 in teacher education institutions, covering into 7 criteria, are basically having, as I told you, into 2 major category of metrics. One is the quantitative, another one is the qualitative. The quantitative metrics are nothing but the metrics that are expecting some kind of information from the institution in terms of quantifiable facts and figures and other data. We cannot just beat around the bush. You have to be very specific, and we have to be very clear, and we have to be completely foolproof of producing the documentary evidences for the various facts, figures, and other data. And they will be assessed based on the facts and figures, and that is what called quantitative metrics. The qualitative metrics is nothing but that requires from the teacher education institution side to provide some kind of descriptive responses, and they need every educational institution and particularly the teacher education institution to describe how they have carried out a particular activity in the institutional level, and they have to write about 500 words all the each and every metrics explanation. So this is about the quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics. Now coming to the most important aspect, what is called the quantitative metrics and quantitative metrics with respect to, excuse me please, with respect to the 6th criterion. And governance, leadership, and management, as I told you earlier, have 5 key indicators. The first indicator has 3 metrics, and there are 15 weightages allotted for it. The second key indicator, strategy development and deployment, has 4 metrics and 25 weightage. The third indicator, faculty empowerment strategy, has 5 metrics and which is assessed for 30 weightages. And the fourth indicator is financial management and resource mobilization, which has 3 metrics and which is going to be carry the weightage of 20. And the last key indicator is internal quality assurance system, is having 5 metrics and which is going to have the assessment done on 30 weightages points. So this is about the 6th criterion. So all the 5 indicators put together have 20 metrics, and the weightage for all the 5 key indicators is about 120. Now let us move on to one by one with respect to the key indicators and the metrics that are included for each and every key indicators. As far as the first key indicators of the sixth criterion is called institutional vision and leadership, which is having 5 weightage. And the first the first metric is nothing but it is a quality metric, which every teacher education institution need to describe in a written form, in a written statement, not exceeding 500 words on the vision and mission statement of the institution, the list of teachers, students, or non-teaching staff who effectively took part in the decision-making process in various bodies of the institution, and the other documentary evidences that we are necessarily to be provided to support or in support of the quality metrics of 6.1.1. I will repeat again, the governance of the institution is reflective of an effective leadership and participatory mechanism in tune with the vision and mission of the institution. So as the teacher education institution should make it very clear while they are preparing their SSR, that is self-study report on 6 criterion, particularly on 6.1.1, the quality metrics, the educational institution should state its vision very clearly, its mission statement also very clearly. Of course, there may be some objectives of the institution that can also be included. And the second important point is how this vision and mission or the objective of the institution have been realized by involving all the stakeholders, primarily these teachers, students, non-teaching, and other related people, by involving them in the decision-making process. So for which we need to prepare a document, and the document, friends, every document should be authenticated with the signature and seal of the head of the institution. If it is a principal, then the principal has to do it. So every documentary evidences need to be produced. So this is with regard to 6.1.1. Now I understand most of you very clear what is the objective of your institution, objectives of your institution, the vision of your institution, and the mission of your institution. In every education institution, particularly in teacher education institution, you must make your vision and mission categorically developed, displayed in every nook and corner of your institutional campus. It is very important. Apart from that, these two important aspects have to be uploaded in the college website. When someone is going through your website, they must be able to know the vision and mission statement of your institution and how you are involving your stakeholders in the decision making process, which proves the reflection on an effective leadership is existing in a particular institution, and what are the mechanism that you are using to make the effective leadership existence in the institution. So this is about the first metric, 6.1.1. Now the second metric is 6.1.2, institutional practices, decentralization and participative management. This is nothing but it is a qualitative metrics, how an institution, how a teacher education institution try to follow certain process or mechanism to make the administration of the institution as in a decentralized manner, and helping the stakeholders to have a say in the administration, thus making the institution by developing a culture of participation, a management to be a participative management, where every view, every point of thought, ideas of the stakeholders to be called for, that should be waived, that should be weighed in the sense it should be taken into consideration, and accordingly the institution has to go about. And if at all, if the institution is working with a focused power only an individual or only with a group of people, then that is not called as a decentralized and participative management. The decentralized and participative management is nothing but everyone who are involved in the institution, all the stakeholders, I mean to say, should have a say, and those views, ideas, information to be taken into account for further process, and the institution should try to implement it, all those views and ideas which are practical, which are necessary, which are essentially needed for the development of the institution and for the welfare of the community. So this is what called institution practices decentralization and participative management. And here I would like to say that every institution should work for constituting some committees, and the committees may be a small committee or maybe a mega committee, and every committee can be called for periodical meeting, and the committee can give its own suggestions, constructive suggestions that are essentially required mm, for the development of the institution. Friends, you know very well in our life experience, committee members sometimes will go for in a different way of providing negative feedback also, or negative criticism. But let us not worry about that. But participation of every stakeholder is to be the prime task to be implemented in the educational institution. But all the constructive criticism that they are being provided to you as a head of the institution or the chairman of your committee or the head of your committee, please take everything, and that will help for the development of the institution. Therefore, an institution can constitute many committees, and it may be a minimum of a 3-member committee or 4-member committee, or a full entire strength of the institution also can find a place in the committees. But many committees, if you constitute, probably as being the head of the institution, your responsibilities are being shared, and your risk taking is also very much lessened, and your I mean, what to say, your interaction and your relationship with your colleagues and other stakeholders will be very smooth, and therefore the institution will automatically get developed. Therefore, institutional practices to help the administration decentralized and making everyone to take active part in the management of the institution is a prime and important skill that is very essentially required for the governance system. And whoever may be governing the institution, whether you are a principal or a director or whatnot, or maybe in a management, it must take into account of this decentralization process and participative management. The third important metric with regard to the key indicator 1 is the institution maintains transparency in its financial, academic, administrative, and other functions. Here, it is a qualitative matrix, and about 500 words description to be given with regard to the maintenance of transparency in its financial, academic, administrative, and other aspects of the institutional functioning. Every head of the institution or the authority of the institution should make it very clear how far each and every activity, whether it is a activity with a financial involvement, whether it is an academic activities, whether it is an administrative activities, whether it is some other kind of functions that are being planned for the development of the institution, should be very transparent. And say for example, while you are just preparing a kind of a proposal for some kind of function or some kind of activity maybe a kind of a training program that to be given for your students or for teaching staff or non-teaching staff, and how much money that you wanted to spend on it, maybe a kind of a small budgeting. And that small budgeting, of course, involves collection of money or borrowing of money from the management, or maybe allocating some money from the budget which you have already allocated, taking money, spending money, everything should be foolproof and it should be very transparent. So, for example, while you want to buy something, you should not do it alone. You can constitute a committee. The committee can go and buy the things, or in turn, they can allot the duties to some other to buy the material that you wanted to make use of for your program. So, there, the doubts and other apprehensions can be completely done away with, and which will be more explicitly shown to everybody, thus making it a more comprehensive and very transparent system in the institutional level. Therefore, the financial functioning, the academic aspect also. Say, for example, when you get an opportunity to share some of the opportunities for the staff to proceed further, like taking up some program, attending some seminar, some conferences, the head of the institution should not have any kind of whims and fancies. The head of the institution should send the circular to all the teaching staff, or if it is meant for non-teaching, if they can send a circular, they can make it whoever is interested, take part, they can apply for such and such program, and the institution may support, may not support. That depends upon the institutional level and its strategy. Therefore, every policy, that every function, every act of the head of the institution should be very transparent in terms of financial aspect, in terms of academic and administrative aspects. And all these things should be very explicitly being done, and for which the documentary evidence is to be produced in terms of so many report writing. So the reports that you are preparing for each and every activity is the most important evidence that shows the transparency of the management, I mean to say the governance system, in the governance system by the head of the institution or the group of head of the institution. Now coming to the next important key indicator. Key indicator 2, it is nothing but strategy development and deployment. The strategy development and deployment is nothing but, as I told you earlier, these metrics are related and interrelated. You cannot see and read each and every metrics into a watertight compartments. Every metrics is a related and interrelated one with the top from criteria 1 to criteria 7. And particularly the key indicators, all the 5 key indicators of criterion 6 are more related with each other. Say, for example, some of the criterion, I'm sorry, some of the metrics that are being, taken care of in the criterion 6 will reflect in criterion 3 also, will reflect in criterion 4 also, will reflect in criterion 2, it will reflect in criterion 1, will reflect in criterion 5. Therefore, you cannot treat each and every metrics and criteria are independent, but they are related and interrelated. Now, coming to the second key indicator, the institutional strategic plan is effectively deployed. This is nothing but, friends, every institution has to prepare some strategic plan. And the strategic plan is nothing but, it is a, like, say for example, let us say annual academic planning. So an annual academic planning or academic activity planning or extension activity planning can be prepared well in advance, and how those plans are going to be executed, with what kind of strategy that you are going to deploy, and how it is going to be materialized. So it is just like a kind of a vision statement that you are preparing a plan for each and every activity, whether it is financial activity, whether it is academic activity, whether it is an administrative related activity or anything, that need to have some strategic plan. So every institution should have a strategic plan, and those strategic plan should be developed in such a manner in terms of objectives, name of the plan, objectives, then the strategy, and if there is any kind of budgeting is required, that can also be included in the strategic plan. And the time frame also should be. It is just like a proposal, and which has to be materialized at the end, at the end of the time. So this is what called the institutional strategic plan and its effective deployment. So you have to create all the documents, and it should be properly signed by the head of the institution, and all the strategic plan to be linked with your website, your institutional website. So you have to prepare all the documents and get it uploaded in the university website even before the preparation of the SSR. I would say that it will be very helpful for you. It will simplify your work. It will make your work less cumbersome. Therefore, it is better to prepare all the documents well in advance. Then 6.2.2, it is a qualitative metrics. This is nothing but the functioning of the institutional bodies is effective and efficient as visible from policies, administrative setup, appointment, and service rules, procedures, and so on forth. So here we have to make it very clear that how far the institution is doing the activities with regard to the effective and efficient execution of various policies and administrative system, and the appointment process, and yes, implementing the service condition of the teachers and non-teaching staff, including the student admission process, etc. Then there are many procedures that we need to follow. So we have to describe about the functioning of the institutional bodies in an effective and efficient manner, covering all these aspects into 500 words. We have to write. It is a description, and it is to be supported by various documentary evidences. It's a qualitative metrics, and all these things must be linked with our website. And here, link to organogram on the institutional website is nothing but it is the various committees, commission, the administrative setup that we are having in our institutional level to be prepared in the form of a flow chart, and that flow chart has to be displayed to be linked with our university website. So this is what, I'm sorry, our college website. This is what called the institutional bodies that are functioning, that are existing first of all, and that are functioning secondly, and that are functioning effectively and efficiently. So to indicate three important aspects: existence of various bodies, number two, its functioning, number three, it's functioning in terms of effective way and efficient way. So all these things must be very clearly done at the institutional level, and all documents to be produced at the time of not only the peer team visit, but also it to be included in your SSR preparation, and all the documents to be linked with your website also for the assessment of external agency, as well some other process that are involved in the Naac assessment and accreditation process. Coming to the next one, that is criteria metrics 6.2.3. It is a quantitative metrics. There are 7 important aspects that are taken into account by the Naac for effective implementation of e-governance. E-governance has been a talk in our country for so long, and probably for the past almost 2 decades and more than 2 decades, e-governance is being insisted at all levels, and especially in the educational institution, e-governance is very much emphasized, and e-governance can be used very profitably in planning and development of the institution, in the administration of the institution, in the financial functioning of the institution, for example, maintaining of accounts, etc. And then the e-governance system can be effectively implemented and used for student admission and support system. E-governance system can be used very effectively for conduct of examination, publication of results, and so on forth. And e-governance system can be also used for maintenance of attendance for the students, staff, and non-teaching staff, particularly all these three important primary stakeholders of the institution, what is called biometric system. So if these 7 systems are available in your institution, probably your institution is a gifted one. And you must make necessary arrangements for preparing and developing e-governance on these 7 focal areas. And if it is not possible for all, at least in few things, we need to have the e-governance system. And particularly the NCT has made it very clear long ago, even before pandemic, they have sent a circular to all the institution, teacher education institution, way back, I think 2015, if I'm right, that every teacher education institution should install the biometric machine in their campus for the attendance of students, for recording the students' attendance and staff attendance. I do not know whether you have in your institution. If you have, that is good, and you will be able to produce the documentary evidences for the existence of the biometric system in your institution. But however, these things which you cannot simply describe, but these are considered to be in terms of the facts and figures with some kind of documentary evidences that we have to produce. And in case of the documents, we need to fill the data template. There is a data template is available, and the data template is to be provided, and it has to be properly filled with all kinds of documentary evidences. And for example, if you are planning some kind of activity, and all the activities must be taken photograph, and the photograph should be geo-tagged photograph, and you cannot simply produce a simple photograph which you have been taken. And again, the geo-tagged photograph should also be have some kind of captions, some kind of details with regard to the nature of activity, the date, time, and everything. Therefore, the geo-tagged photographs are very much essentially need to be produced for your SSR preparation, for your SSR submission. So therefore, friends, the quantitative metrics are expecting every institution to provide the facts and figures in a template that is called data template. And there is a data template available for certain metrics. And according to the data template, you have to provide the information, the data, and other details that are expected by the Naac. This is about the quantitative metrics. But whereas in qualitative metrics, there is no data template, but only for quantitative technique, metrics, we are using this one. Then the 6.2.4, the effectiveness of various bodies, cells, committees is evident through minutes of meeting and implementation of their resolutions and decisions. This is what I have been talking about while we are talking about in terms of the decentralization of administration. Decentralization of administration in terms of participatory management. So friends, every educational institution, every teacher education institution can constitute many committees, cells, centers, etc. And one of the teacher can be given the responsibility of heading the cells or centers, etc. So for example, in our university, we have 53 cells and centers, and each and every cell and center has one chairman and a few members in it. And whatever the point we wanted to decide on with regard to academic, administrative, examination, teaching, learning, etc., the entire administration is now being assisted by all the 53 centers and cells in our university. And thanks to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, who have constituted 53 centers and cells apart from the statutory cells and centers. So this is a very one of the important best practice that is essentially expected of a teacher education institution. Therefore, friends, may I request you to prepare, to constitute many bodies, cells, and centers apart from the statutory things. Then you can involve all those cells and centers, bodies, and organization to make your institution function very smoothly, very comfortably, very effectively by taking their views, opinions, and their points of thoughts. So if that is taken, probably that will help you to get your institution accredited with the high points. Therefore, every meeting must have a minutes, and all the meeting minutes has to be uploaded in the website, and particularly you must produce the documentary evidences at the time of the peer team visit. With regard to peer team visit, on the site, on the spot visit by Naac peer team, may I request all the heads of the institution and other IQAC coordinators or directors, whoever may be attending this program, or other people, other interested people, teacher educator who are attending this program, must be very careful in preparing your documents for the qualitative metrics, because they will go through each and every aspect of the qualitative metrics. Please take care of it. And all the meetings, see, we can conduct meeting, we can take some decision, we can take some kind of resolution and so on forth, but implementation is very important. And once if we implement, then it has to be properly reported, and therefore and the action taken report on it is very, very important. Therefore this is a very unique aspect that every institution need to possess. If not it is there, please do something in the future. Then key indicator 3.1, it is a quality metrics, effective implementation of welfare measures for teaching and non-teaching staff. Friends, here there are many aspects that governs in terms of welfare measures, and every teacher education institution should prepare some kind of welfare measure schemes if it is available within the institution, or you can make use of the agencies that are available outside the institution, keeping in mind about welfare of your students, teachers, and other stakeholders of the institution. For example, you can as a head of the institution, in consultation with the management, you can contribute a little amount from the money which we are collecting from the student as admission fee, in terms of insurance for each and every student. There are many schemes are available for the students, so that you can insure every student while they stay in your institution for 2 years, if it is a B.Ed program. If it is a M.Ed program, also another 2 years. Therefore you can go for thinking in a different way, and trying to helping the student, teachers, and other non-teaching staff welfare by keeping in mind of their welfare, their improvement, their development. You can chalk out some programs, you can chalk out some welfare measures, and that can be implemented successfully. Of course, money is involved in certain programs, in certain welfare measures. In some cases, there is no need of money involvement, even only human resources involvement is enough. Therefore, please keep in mind how far you can make use of certain policies, programs that will be very helpful for the students, teachers, and non-teaching staff. So every document must be prepared very systematically, and it is to be kept ready with the signature of the principal or head of the institution for uploading while you are preparing your SSR. The next one is 6.3.2. It is a quantitative metrics. Here again, it is indicating what is the percentage of the teachers being provided financial support to attend various seminars, conferences, workshops, and even making them to become a member, a life member or annual member, or for a period of a membership. The institution can pay something to the teachers to help them to become a member, and to help them to take active participation in various extra programs like seminars, conferences, workshops, and for which you have to provide the detail year wise. And every data that you are providing in the SSR is taken into account only for the past 5 years. And please see that your data is arranged in such a manner, in a descending order, not in ascending order, in a descending order. And you please prepare all the documents in such a way, and whether whatever the data that you provide, and the machine will calculate and it will provide you the weightage. And you cannot just think that by whatever the data that you are providing in the form of an input will be taken into account as it is, because there is a process what is called DVV process, data validation and verification process there. Once if the data validation and verification process is over, then only you will be able to guess at least to what extent your criteria, your metrics, you have fetched some kind of weightages. Therefore, it is very serious that we need to keep in mind the data template has to be properly filled, and each and every data or the required information is supposed to be given with the supporting documents. Or each and every word, each and every data, each and every information that you are providing in the data template must have complete supporting documents. Friends, I will repeat again and again, documents only will speak, and your oral explanation will never taken into account. Please see that the documents are prepared in such a way, and the documents are preserved in such a way, the documents are maintained in such a way, the documents are kept in order in a systematic manner for not only uploading in your college or in your institutional website at the time of SSR preparation, at the time of submission of SSR preparation, but also at the time of DVV clarification, but also at the time of Naac peer team visit. Therefore, I request all the heads of the institution, then and the IQAC coordinators and directors, keep in mind that the data only will help you, documents only will help you to fetch good grades for your institution. So with regard to the teachers' professional development, they are asking how many programs they have been attending, and if at all they attended, how much money the institution has spent on it, and if it is so, where is the order, whether you have given any written statement, written order that you are sponsored or you are deputed to attend such and such a program, and the financial expenses will be borne by the institution, etc., etc. Therefore, simply you cannot state anything, and it should also reflect in the income and expenditure statement of the institution also. When you say I have sponsored 10 programs for our students, for our teachers, by spending 10,000 rupees, you can prepare a document, you can give a letter, you can give all the details. But in the financial aspects, while going through the budget of that particular year, the budget should have the provision for sponsoring the teacher to attend the programs for their professional development. If once on one side you will claim that the 10 teachers have attended by spending 10,000 rupees, on the other side the budget may not have a provision. If there is no provision made in the budget, then your data will not be considered. Therefore, friends, it's very important. Then there will be a lot of checks and balances will be there, which will make you to cross verify, and your institution should not suffer later on. Therefore, the data template should be prepared as per the directions of the Naac, which is given in the website. Coming to the next metrics, that is, it is also a quantitative metrics. Metric 6.3.3, number of professional development administrative programs organized at the institutional level for teaching and non-teaching staff. And again, if you have IPAC, the IPAC can play a very important role in it. If there is no IPAC in your institution, don't worry. The heads of the institutions are very capable and very talented and creative people. You can prepare a proposal. You can conduct a series of professional development program for your teaching and non-teaching staff, at least monthly once or twice, or if not, at least once in fortnight. You can arrange a program for both the teaching and non-teaching. Whatever you do, that should be recorded. That should be maintained in the form of a document. So documentary evidences need to be produced. Say, for example, when you are organizing a program, you should prepare a brochure or flyer. That should be kept in mind. And once if you prepare the flyer or the brochure, that should be circulated, that should be kept in your website, that should be uploaded in your website, university website, I'm sorry, college website. Then you need to invite the participants, not only from your institution. If the program is organized for the similar category of teachers who can participate in a program organized in your institution. So all the process that you have done should find a place in the institutional website, and necessary documentary evidences need to be prepared and preserved and uploaded in the institutional website before SSR preparation, as well as at the time of preparation of SSR and submission, and as well as at the time of the Naac peer team visit. So this is about the very important aspect. How many programs we have organized for the teaching and non-teaching is very, very important. Then 6.3.4, it is with regard to the encouragement that we have made to our staff members to attend various online and offline programs in terms of faculty development programs. Of course, if your institution is a university or an aided institution or a government institution, certain faculty development programs are mandatory, but there are certain faculty programs are not mandatory for a self-financing institution. But just keeping in mind about it is not mandatory for your teachers or non-teaching staff, then if you don't take any initiative of organizing or sending your staff for attending some programs, will never help you for your Naac assessment. Therefore, may I request all the heads of the institution, keep in mind whether a program is mandatory, whether faculty development program is mandatory for the staff, those who are working in your institution or not. But for these, for the sake of Naac, you please depute your staff to attend various faculty development programs, and all the documentary evidences need to be possessed. Say, for example, if there are 10 staff members are available in your institution, only 2 members have been periodically attending the faculty development program. If the remaining 8 are not attending, if they are not attending, it will affect your score also. Therefore, give equal opportunity for all the staff, make all the staff, encourage all the staff to take participation in various programs, in a various faculty development program. And this is a quantitative metrics. Therefore, you need to provide all the data in the data template provided by the Naac. And 6.3.3 is a qualitative metrics. The institution has a performance appraisal system for teaching and non-teaching staff. Friends, a performance or appraisal system is very much persisting in the higher education institution, particularly in the state government, central government, universities, state government and central government higher learning institution like colleges of education or teacher education institution. But this may be very much absent in the private institution, particularly in self-financing institution. And if your institution is a self-financing institution, please try to follow certain mechanism to appraise the performance of your staff, both teaching and non-teaching staff, and develop a kind of a performance appraisal mechanism and try to implement it at least once in a year, if not frequently, and see that the documents are maintained properly. So your performance appraisal assessment process and the report need to be maintained properly. It should be uploaded in the institutional website even before the SSR preparation, during the preparation, and after the preparation, until the only Naac peer team visit. It should lie in your institutional website until you go for the second cycle or the next cycle of assessment. Therefore, it is very important. Now, key indicator 4. Institution conducts internal and external financial audit regularly. It is a qualitative metrics. Friends, in this case, I would like to say that the institution should find an opportunity to have a transparency system in the financial management. And here in the financial management, we must be knowing what is the inflow of income, what is the expenditure that we are doing. But all the income and expenditure need not to be taken care only by one person, but a committee can be appointed, or there may be a finance section will be there, and each and every activity of the event that is being taken into account by some kind of financial implications need to be seriously planned, executed, and reported. And all the plans, say for example, preparing a budget, executing the program, finally submission of the what is called accounts, maintaining proper accounts, reports about the event, financial accounts, everything is essential. So if a government institution, there are many mechanisms for internal audit as well as external audit. And if at all at the university level, there will be some kind of mechanism. If it is a government college of education, there is a separate mechanism. But for a self-financing college, I don't think there is a mechanism available externally to assess your financial functioning. Therefore, may I request the internally you may have some kind of checks, but externally you may not have. Therefore, you can think by just involving some external agency to do some kind of auditing of your financial transactions, your financial functioning, and therefore you will get some kind of feedback, and all the feedback to be maintained, and all the things that you have to maintain in the form of your documents that need to be produced at the appropriate time. So financial management should be very transparent, and there should be some kind of check on the financial transaction, on the financial functioning, and both internal and external auditing to be regularly carried out. And if that is done properly, the financial management can be very well established, and there won't be any problem for any one of you at the institutional level. And this 6.4.2 is a quantitative metrics. And here the quantitative metrics is nothing but how much resources, financial resources that you have augmented or collected or mobilized for the institution. So the funds that being inflow, had inflow in your institution in terms of funds like donations received from various agencies, particularly non-government agencies, individuals and other entrepreneurs or philanthropists who are kind enough to help the institution by providing some donations to the institution. And those institutions are funds that the institution has received apart from the government, need to be properly accounted, need to be properly used, need to be properly reported to the various agencies or the appropriate authorities. Therefore, there is a data template. You need to provide the data year-wise with regard to how much funds or donation that we have received for our institution from NGOs, from individuals, from philanthropies, or from some other agency. And friends, here I just wanted to remind you that you cannot just fill the data template with the data what you wanted, but there are certain things, procedures that we need to follow, and for which there is a guideline available with respect to the completion of your qualitative metrics description, to write the description of your qualitative metrics, to fill the data template. There is a mechanism provided in the Naac which is called SOP. SOP is nothing but standard operating procedure. There is a standard operating procedure is available. Say for example, when you want to fill the data template of the donation received from NGO, you cannot simply state it. Some X NGO have given you in the year 2020-21 5 lakhs rupees as contribution to our institution. But that has to be properly accounted. It has to be properly received. It has to be properly given by so many creation of documents, and those documents has to be maintained properly for verification. And you cannot claim very simply that so and so has given some money, but that so and so has to give you a kind of a document that I so and so has donated such and such amount of money to such and such an institution during such and such academic year for such and such purpose. So all these kind of information need to be provided. If that is given, then you are establishing the credibility of the document. You are establishing the reliability on the document, and then only it will be considered, then only it will be taken into account for assessment. Therefore, kindly go through the SOP, which is available in the Naac website, and for each and every qualitative metrics, and particularly for the quantitative metrics, the SOP is available. Please go through the SOP and try to prepare your SSR accordingly with respect to each and every metrics, and more particularly the quantitative metrics. Then 6.4.3, it is institutional strategies for mobilization of funds and optimal utilization of resources are in place in the institutional level. See, whatever the strategy that you are preparing for collection or mobilization of money or some kind of funds for your institution. Say, for example, you can encourage your staff to prepare some kind of what is called a research proposal. Some kind of programs can be organized, a seminar, a webinar, or a webinar like your webinar, or some kind of workshop can be organized, for which you can fix a nominal fee as the entry fee. And those kinds of collection of funds has to be properly maintained, and that should be properly utilized only for that particular purpose. That is very important. When you collect money for a particular event, that should be used only for that particular event, that you cannot divert to for some other activity. So therefore, it has to be properly mobilized within the rule, within the purview of rules and regulation, within the purview of the rules and regulation of the institution, within the rule of the government, and then it has to be maximum utilized for that particular aspect. So proper documents need to be maintained, and it should be authenticated by the head of the institution. So 6.5 is the last indicator, what is called internal quality assurance system. As far as 6.5.1 is the quality metrics. It is a qualitative metrics, and they try to check whether there is any system or any mechanism available in the institution to assure the quality and to develop the quality of the institutional level. So it is called internal quality assurance cell. So this internal quality assurance cell, in short form, we call it IQAC, may be found in many of the institution which has got the first cycle over. During the second cycle, probably at the end of the first cycle, as per the Naac procedure, they need to establish an IQAC, what is called internal quality assurance cell, and whether a director or coordinator may be appointed, and there will be members for that committee and or the cell. They need to work throughout the academic year for not only to maintain the quality, what is called sustenance of quality, but also for further improvement or further sustenance of quality of the institution. Therefore, an IQAC can be established after the first cycle of assessment is over. Even if you are so much interested, you can establish an IQAC well in advance while you are thinking about subjecting your institution for Naac assessment. Therefore, the IQAC can be constituted in your institution. Identify a person who is more dynamic, who is able to make up the institution very dynamic with the help of the head of the institution. Please don't go for using a person who is well known to you for helping the person to get a position. It is then becoming a biased approach. There should not be any whims and fancies in choosing the coordinator of the IQAC of your institution. You must take utmost care, because including the head of the institution, including the management of the institution, are responsible. They are accountable to the IQAC. So IQAC, in fact, is the prime instrument or mechanism available in the higher education institution to take up the institution to greater heights. Therefore, IQAC coordinator or IQAC director must be selected or appointed by the institution, should be a very dynamic person. Otherwise, it is going to be a very great headache for any institution If at all, if you are not able to identify a right person for IQ to lead the IQAC of our institution. So the IQAC can organize many programs and it can create a quality culture in the institution by conducting many events, conducting many programs, involving all the stakeholders for the welfare and development of the institution, for the promotion of quality in the institution. Therefore, it is considered as a quality metrics. It's very important. The second one is 6.52 is the institution reviews its teaching learning process periodically through IQAC or any other mechanism. Friends, as I told you earlier, as per the Naac norms, IQAC is mandatory after the first cycle is over. But whereas there are many institutions, for example, even our university where I was working till yesterday evening has an IQAC. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor has appointed me as an IQAC director. I have been taking a lot of effort to do things to project our institution, to project our university as it is doing some kind of activities for the qualitative assurance of the programs. So the quality assurance is being reflected by organizing various programs in the institutional level. Therefore, there is no harm, no rule prevent you. Please try to find an IQAC in your institution if you are going for the first cycle of assessment also, and nobody is going to stop it and nobody is going to question you. In fact, that will facilitate the head of the institution, share the responsibility of the head of the institution. It will help the institution to grow more and more. Therefore, an institution which is having an IQAC should work very seriously for the quality assurance of the institution. That is, the qualitative programs can be organized even under the banner of IQAC. And otherwise, if there is no IQAC, some other mechanism that you need to find. Maybe a kind of a committee can be constituted if you are not very serious about IQAC. So some mechanism is need to be created in the higher learning institution, particularly in the teacher education institution, to monitor the quality of the program that you are offering, maybe programs you may offering, and for which you need to prepare certain document. This is a quality metrics. Then 6.5.3, this is nothing but if at all, if the IQAC is existing in an institution, how many programs, quality initiatives that have been taken by the IQAC, not only for the quality improvement in teaching learning evaluation system, even in an administrative side also, the IQAC can organize some program for the non-teaching staff. Therefore, the quality initiative that are being taken by IQAC for the promotion of quality culture at the institutional level need to be accounted, and it is a quantitative metrics. There is a data template available. The data template need to be filled by providing necessary data or information. So every data is to be supported by documentary evidences, properly produced, properly accounted, properly maintained, and properly attested or properly signed by the head of the institution. So IQAC role is very important in an educational institution, particularly in teacher education institution. If at all we are not having an IQAC, please think about it and start immediately. Then 6.5.4, institution engages in several quality initiatives such as regular meeting of internal quality assurance cell, if all if you have an IQAC. If not, there should be some mechanism that you need to have to collect the feedback with regard to your curriculum, with regard to your teaching process, with regard to your learning process, with regard to your examination system and whatnot. So there may be the entire functioning of the institution can be assessed by evolving some mechanism, and those assessment must be taken into account in terms of feedback collected from various stakeholders. That should be analyzed and action should be initiated on it. That is what called action taken report. So that action taken report has to be submitted. Then timely submission of AQAR, that is annual quality assurance report. It is to be done only after the first cycle by the IQAC. If you are going for the first cycle, The second aspect is not, necessary. And the third one is very important, which we have already spoken at the core value aspect, or the key indicators that I was explaining in terms of academic administrative audit. Academic audit is nothing but a kind of a committee can be constituted, an external committee can be constituted to assess your academic activities right from the beginning to till the end of the academic year. Whatever happened, not only it is assessing the teachers' performance, like performance appraisal of teachers, but it is assessing the entire academic activities of the institution. You can draw experts from higher learning institutions of similar type of your own institution, and you can make use of those expertise, those experts, for a quality assurance in your institution. And when they come to your institution and conduct an audit, it is called academic audit. Similarly, for the non-teaching staff or for the entire administration of the institution, you can also make use of the experts available outside your institution, and they should be very objective in their assessment. They can come to your institution and they can assess your administrative process. And if that is done, then your institution is moving towards your greater heights of establishing quality oriented programs, quality oriented input, quality oriented activities that is being done both at the academic level as well as administrative level. Then the fourth one is collaborative quality initiative with other institutions. So for example, if you have an IQAC in your institution, the IQAC can enter into an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, with some other IQAC. For example, the Periyar University, which is a pioneer university in Tamil Nadu, is a state public university, has entered an MOU with our university IQAC. That IQAC has entered into an MOU with our university IQAC. So an MOU can be entered between two institutions, between two organizations, between two IQAC cells, between one organization and an IQAC, and so on forth. Therefore, a lot of avenues are there, but it all depends upon the IQAC director, IQAC coordinator. How can he or she explore the avenues that are available abundantly outside their institution? So the institution can have a collaborative program. Say, for example, the IQAC of a next institution can collaborate with an IQAC of another teacher education institution. You can jointly organize a program, jointly organize a seminar, jointly organize a webinar, jointly organize a training program. So this is the way you can try to take initiative at the institutional level for quality improvement of the institution. These are the quality initiatives. If you would have taken, probably you will get a very good score in the Naac. So this is about the process that you are expected to do. And lastly, the institution should also have participation in NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework. As far as teacher education institutions are concerned, in the NIRF, there is an issue which we have been talking about, which we have been writing to the organization, but we are yet to get some kind of clarity about the role of teacher education institution. Participation of teacher education institution in NIRF process. But still, there are some avenues are there. You can think of all those kind of process. How can you make your institution to participate in the NIRF process? And if not, maybe some other similar accreditation process can be considered for ranking process. World ranking process is also there. So please see that how far you can make use of your good office for making your institution to get participated in the ranking framework system. So this is a quantitative matrix. You need to fill the data, and the data is to be supported by various documents, plan, action taken report, etc. So everything should have a pakka document to support your claim of all the 5 aspects. Otherwise, you will be losing your score, and ultimately that will affect your grading also. Then 6.5.5, This is institution keep track of the incremental improvements achieved an academic and administrative domain of its functioning through quality assurance initiatives. And there are two things which are given very clearly. If at all your institution is going for the first cycle, you can explain any two examples how the institution has taken initiative on the incremental improvements programs that have been realized or achieved on the academic and administrative aspects. So this is about the activities that you have done, and only two examples you have given, you have to give or you have to cite for academic and administrative aspects that have taken place the assessment period, what is called in the last 5 academic year. Friends, the assessment period is referring to last 5 academic year. And if you are submitting your SSR for 2022-23 academic year, then your academic year will be over by June or July 2022. So please see that the academic year is to be counted in such a way. Only the last 5 years academic year will be counted, considered for SSR preparation and submission. And current academic year data will not be accepted by the Naac. Then friends, the data templates which I have already told you, there are about 7 data templates that you need to fill with the proper documentary evidences to make claim about the activities that you have been conducted. And please go through the website of Naac. The data templates are available. It is in form. I'm sorry, I cannot show you now because there is no time. Also, I think I have already exceeded the time limit which is given to me. I'm so sorry for the delayed presentation. Sorry, organizers. Let me take another 5 minutes. Then wind up the program.
Please, sir. Please proceed, sir. No problem.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Friends, I was talking about the standard operating procedure for data validation and verification. This is a very significant thing that every teacher education institution should keep in mind with regard to the presentation of your documents, submission of your documents, supporting documents, whatever you feel is very significant, important. But all the documents and documentary evidences and photographs that you are producing, thinking that it is correct and perfect, that can be added, that can be used for supporting, may not be correct unless you prepare your documents, submit your documents, upload your documents according to the SOP, standard operating procedures, that is given in the Naac website. Please go through it for each and every metrics, particularly for every quantitative metrics. There is SOP, and that if you follow that particular SOP, your data will be very seriously viewed and validation will be properly done and verification also easy by the Naac, and you will not be put into any kind of hardship later on after the SSR is submitted. Therefore, the SOP is very, very important. I have prepared the SOP by taking the information from the data available in the Naac website with regard to 7 quantitative metrics which we have already spoken in detail. Say, for example, if at all, if you want to say that you have done some activities, if that activity is done, for example, e-governance is implemented in administration, e-governance is done in student admission, and if at all, if you have done it, you cannot simply say e-governance is adopted, e-governance is effectively used, but you have to produce the document what is expected of by the Naac in the documents recommended. It is in the second column. Screenshots of user interfaces of each module. Say, for example, when you upload a document in your institutional website for inviting application for admission of students, that document, that application form has to be taken as a screenshot, and that has to be submitted at the time of your SSR submission. So this is what called screenshots of user interfaces of each module, and each and every e-governance procedure has to find a place, and documentary evidences are to. And simply producing a photograph is not accepted by the NAC. Now you have to go for geotagged photograph. The geotagged photograph, perhaps all of you know very well, which will give you the longitude, latitude, and where your institution and from where the photograph is taken, including the date and time will be reflected on the photograph. Therefore, now the NAC is insisting geotagged photograph. So please see that all the documents are done in such a manner. Similarly, for the second important quantitative metrics, what is called the percentage of teachers who have been provided financial assistance for participation to various programs, and for which if you say 10 staff members have been deputed for attending some program with the financial assistance of the institution, is not adequate. You have to produce the documents which are expected as per the SOP. So for example, the institutional policy must be available first of all, that the institution is providing financial support to teachers to attend some professional development program. And the second one is e-copy of the letters indicating the financial assistance to each and every teacher must be available. Then once if the teacher attend the program, their teacher's participation certificate must be produced. And the certificate of if at all they have enrolled in some kind of organization as a member, the membership form and the membership fee and the membership certificate must be produced. Then all these things must be, especially the amount which you have incurred towards promoting the quality of your teachers by sending them to attend various professional programs, professional development programs, and that should reflect in the income and expenditure of the institution. That is called in the budget, it must be reflected, and that need to be highlighted under which heading you have drawn the money for financial support of the teacher. This is very, very important. And doing the DBB process, you will be asked to produce any number of documents, a specific document during the DBB process by the higher education institution. And perhaps if you have submitted 10 documents for 10 teachers, and during the DBB process, they may ask a particular teacher's entire document. And if that is accepted, if that is validated, then it means all the other 9 teachers' documents are also accepted. So this is the way the NAC is doing the process. 6.33, that is regarding the professional development and administrative training programs organized at the institution level for both the teaching and non-teaching. So now the documents, important documents in the data template is expected are brochures, reports along with the photographs, the geotagged photograph with the date and time and caption also. The list of participants in each program. So each program, how many participants have attended while you are organizing an event, and all those events to be captured with a geotagged photograph, and it need to be produced. If this is given, then probably your data will be accepted. It will be validated and it will be taken into account for verification and grading also. Otherwise, they don't accept it. Then 6.3.3, with respect to the percentage of teachers who have attended the online program, face-to-face program, or refresher courses, orientation courses, short-term courses, etc. So the documents that are required are copy of the course completion certificates, including the organization that I have conducted the program. Suppose if your teacher have attended a orientation program in the UGC HRDC center, then the teacher has to produce the certificate. That has to be scanned, that has to be attested by the head of the institution, and it has to be submitted in the form of your documentary evidences to claim the percentage of teachers undergoing or undergone the face-to-face or online faculty development program. But here in the third column, you can see specific instruction to higher education institutions. Say, for example, it's a very, very important SOP. Please look it very carefully. One teacher attending one or more professional development program in a year to be counted as one only. One teacher attending one or more professional development program in a year to be counted as one only. Suppose if I would have attended 10 faculty development programs in a year, in an academic year, but my 10 faculty development programs which I have attended will not be treated 10. It will be treated only 1 for me. So similarly, for one teacher, only one program, irrespective of the number of programs they have attended, will be taken into account for DVV process and for assessment process. So during the DVV process, the certificates of a particular staff, whether maybe a teaching or non-teaching staff, will be called for by the DVV mechanism or process, the external agency. We need to produce it also. Therefore, all the programs, whatever the teachers have attended, can be submitted. But in terms of assessment, for weightage and to assessment score, they will consider only one program per year for one teacher. And that is why I request the heads of the departments, please see that all the teachers are being sent for faculty development program. All the teachers are getting equal opportunity in the institutional level for attending various programs. If at all, if that is done, a greater advantage is there for you. Otherwise, if your particular teacher is being repeatedly deputed for attending a program, will never help the institution. Therefore, please see that all the teachers are given equal opportunity. And friends, in the last column, it is very serious, not to be considered. For example, program of duration of shorter than the stipulation by the regulatory body, not to be considered. For example, if you go for a faculty development program, whatever the number of days prescribed by your regulatory authority, the regulatory authority as per a teacher education institution is concerned, one, the primary regulatory agency is NCTE. NCTE has not come out with any kind of description with regard to the FDP program, but you are governed by UGC also. The UGC has given some stipulated time frame for some kind of program to be completed by a teacher, and they consider the FDP program with certain criteria. For example, the minimum number of hours, minimum number of days a teacher is need to attend to complete a FDP program. So as per the UGC norms, if the program is conducted, if the program is attended by the teacher, then it will be considered for the assessment. Otherwise, 1 day FDP, 2 day FDP will not be taken into account by the Naac process. 6.4.2, that is regarding the funds and donation received from various agencies. So the documents that we need to submit is income expenditure statements that are highlighting the relevant item with the seal and signature, both the chartered accountant and the principal. If you are a private institution, your auditor, your institutional auditor need to sign, and the principal also to sign on the income and expenditure statement. And the money which you have received from various agency, the inflow of money is also to be highlighted in the statement of the financial statement of year wise. Otherwise, it will not be considered. Similarly, copy of the letter from the various agencies that indicating that so much of money that they have given on so and so date to be used for such and such purposes, etc. That document also to be considered. But it is better to avoid the duplication of the documents by some other way, and funds from other than the NGO, individual, philanthropist will not be considered. If at all, if you prepare a document and try to do something to make a claim that you have received some fund from some other agency. So for example, funds from own institution. See, your own institution can contribute, but that will not be considered. Or your own trust can be contribute, that cannot be considered. Your sister institution can contribute something for the institution as sharing responsibility, that will not be considered. Therefore, it should be very pakka in terms of an NGO. If you get claim a money that you have received from NGO, then that NGO must be a registered NGO. If an individual is also to be very clearly indicate that as an individual he is or she is doing some kind of financial assistance for an institution. So documentary evidences are to be very clearly prepared for making your claim, and if at all your claim is correct, If our documents are correct, then the Naac will do the proper way of validation and verification. Then 6.5.3, the average number of quality initiative taken by IQAC. The documents that you need to produce are report of the work done by the IQAC or other quality mechanism. So whatever the event that have taken place in terms of quality initiative, all the brochures, all the schedule, all the participants, all the other stakeholders involvement, the resource person whom you have invited, geotagged photograph, all that details. Apart from those details, a report from the IQAC is necessary that the event has been organized in such a manner involving such and such things, and the program has brought out such kind of impact or some kind of outcome on the particular things. So this is the way, if you do it, then it will be accepted. Then the list of quality initiative taken by the IQAC, and all the list to be, countersigned by the principal of the institution. Then the specific instruction to the particular institution is the initiative should be through IQAC and should have special focus on promoting quality culture in the institution. As I told you earlier, if you are going for the first cycle, the IQAC may not be there. But if at all, if you have an IQAC, it's well and good. If not, you just try to find out a core committee, you constitute a committee, ask them to conduct many programs, which is treated similar to an IQAC, and therefore those activities can be valued, it can be considered. But your caution is activities other than quality initiatives not to be considered. Say for example, if an IPAC organizes a program like what is it called, creating an awareness of traffic rules to the student community, that cannot be taken into account for quality initiative. Quality here they mean academic administrative quality. So you have to plan such a manner, and it should be useful for your institution to fetch more score for your institution in the assessment process. The last one is with regard to the institutional engages several quality initiatives like academic audit, IQAC work, and administrative audit, and participation in NIRF, etc. So you cannot claim simply that we have participated in NIRF, but you have to produce supportive document. Your registration and your ranking should also indicate. Similarly, whatever the things that you have done, for example, administrative audit, academic audit, and the audit people who have visited your institution to conduct the academic audit or administrative audit should give you a report. That report should be submitted as a documentary evidences. Therefore, this is about the very important thing. And the institution which have already gone for the first cycle need to be submit every year the annual quality assurance report. If any institution fails to submit the annual quality assurance report, if at all, if they go for the second cycle, third cycle, or subsequent cycle, then the Naac will not assess your institution. Therefore, it is mandatory, it is essential, the institution which have already assessed, and therefore AQR submission is very, very important. Now they have brought in online AQR submission. Please take care and see that annually your AQR report are properly submitted on time to the Naac portal. And if that is not done, you will be losing your opportunity of getting your institution assessed in for the next cycle. Now, thank you. I'm very sorry. I have taken more than the allotted time, almost about 15 minutes extra I have taken. I'm so sorry, dear friends and participants. Sorry, very sorry. Now you can ask any clarification with me. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you so much, sir. No sorry at all. We are highly obliged that you took more
You,
than the allotted time
Thank you,
for
ma'am.
providing the awareness to the participants. Now, I request all the participants, if you have any queries, you may ask one by one.
I'm happy, madam, to receive any clarifications.
Sir, may I ask you some doubts?
Please, sir.
Sir, one college wants to go for Naac accreditation in this year.
Yes.
Okay. but they are not prepared for this NAC accreditation for the last 5 years.
Yes, sir.
In such a condition, they might have not taken the geotagged photos.
Yes, sir.
They might have not constituted the ICAC.
Yes, sir.
And so relevant things. But this year, the authorities decided go for NAC accreditation.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
as a result, they have started to work according to the NAC directions.
Yes, sir.
In such a situation,
Yes.
what the college can do?
Sir, this is a very difficult situation actually for any institution, whether it belongs to mine or me or you, whatever it is. It is very, very difficult because the NAC has been categorically making it a point since for a long time that the photographs that we are using is not dependable. And that is why, because there are a lot of manipulation have been done earlier, and it has come to into the light, into the knowledge of the NAC, and therefore now they wanted to make use of the ICT integration in the process also. Friends, I'm sorry, sir, I may be going little away from your point. See, we used to have a peer team visit earlier only by having visit totally an expert group. A group of experts will come and they will conduct the study on the spot. Whatever the document we produce, they will go through and they will use the assess, and they used to recommend some kind of grade for our institution. And the next situation, we now come to know that there are quantitative metrics and qualitative metrics, and about 65% of the assessment is now being done by machine. It is not done by human being. But in the earlier case, only the human being used to do the assessment. A team will come, they will assess all the documents for 2 days or 3 days, then depends upon the nature of the institution, and they will do all the process and everything will be completed by them. But now the situation is entirely different. Only the quantitative metrics are assessed by machine. The qualitative metrics are assessed by the peer team visit, and the peer team is going to assess. Here, if at all, if they have any doubt about even about the quantitative metrics also, they can report to the NAC, but they will be more focusing on qualitative metrics. And while we are submitting the document, they are expecting a foolproof document, whether it is quantitative or quantitative metrics, because I think if you go through the NAC website, there are some people who have been blacklisted, and there are some institutions are also blacklisted because of the manipulation of documents. But whereas in this particular clarification is concerned, people like you, Professor Devanandan ji, like many people who are aware of the geotag photograph mechanism, have already started doing it. And some of them have not done it because of their ignorance, and it is not their mistake. They never gone through the website. They must have not gone through the manual. If they would have gone through the manual and other instruction given in the NAC website, probably they would have become more aware, and they would have started preparing their documents in such a manner and such a way. But a person like me, who is not at all bothered about the NAC assessment process, the instruction and other facilities or other provisions or other matters, may be suddenly thinking that we have to subject our institution for NAC assessment. In that case, if the photograph which are not having geotagged process may not be considered, and probably it is very difficult for the institution, particularly the head of the institution and the IQAC director, to establish the veracity of the photograph. And therefore, they can do one thing. They can just insert the date and time by doing some kind of what is called photoshopping or something like that. So yeah, they can do it, they can insert it, but it should be a kind of a genuine document. And if that is not there, probably they will be getting a very bad impression about their institution. Therefore, my humble suggestion to any institution, you produce your documents, even with the geo-tagged photograph or without geo-tagged photograph, if the people are having complete faith, if you would have given a good faith to them, then probably they may accept certain things. Probably if you give an impression that you are manipulating the document, then probably the hard work that you have done, all your energy that you have invested, the money that you have invested will become waste. Therefore, it is better now itself, at least let make us this. That is why I think you have organized such a program to create a kind of an awareness that geotagged photography is essential for Naac assessment process. Probably most of them would have already got the idea, they might have done it. But for the past 5 years, particularly for the past 2 years, year before last year, during the pandemic period, I don't think that photographs may be available. So screenshots you can use. You would have taken some screenshots with regard to your programs conducted, and maybe a few samples of the genuine photographs may give an impression. That's the only solution that we have. But we cannot go back and take a geotag photograph. But there are certain rumors are also there, but I don't want to speak in this platform about that. I think you know how to manage it. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Any other queries, please?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
In the 6.5.4, sir, you have told to upload the documents. In that,
Yes.
e-copies of the accreditation and certification is there, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
We have got the hard copy.
Yeah.
That we have to scan and we have to upload. Is it correct?
Yes, yes, yes. That is what called e-copy, madam. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, madam. Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else, please?
Anyone, please? Anyway, my apology to the organizers. I kindly accept my apology that I have taken much time. So sorry for it.
Sir, please, it's my humble request.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
you are
ma'am.
not supposed to apologize, sir. You have oriented us with such a vast,
we are all teachers, ma'am. We will be having a lot of engagement, lot of programs. Particularly this working day, you might be having so many programs, but I have just called your program for an hour. I'm so sorry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your vast, comprehensive and fully loaded session on criteria number 6 that was based on governance, leadership and management. And you have absolutely rightly pointed, sir, beating about the bush will not serve the purpose, as one has to be very particular and specific regarding each and everything in the criteria specified. So for the formal vote of thanks, I would like to request Dr. Sushila Narang to kindly propose today's vote of thanks. Over to Dr. Sushila.
Thank you, Dr. Sarajit Kaur. First of all, I would like to say that it was really very nice and very well framed explanation. For that, thank you so much, sir, for such a nice deliberation. You have explained each and every point so clearly that I think nothing has left to ask, and we are very fortunate to have you with us in today's session. We are very privileged that we are having your so precious time. You are so busy, we can see that. We have just snatched your time. Thank you so much for availability for us. It was really very enriching and enlightening session. Thank you so much for such a brilliant and wonderful session, sir. Formally, I would like to extend a very heartfelt thanks on behalf of our President, Mr. Shipal Singh ji, Vice President, Madam Megha Bishram ji, Secretary of Dr. Devanandan ji, who is also known as a backbone of this association. Just because of his effort, we all are collaboratively doing this such a huge program. I also thank him also that we are jointly together in this. Just because of him is his effort that we are here with you and we are availing your so precious time. Thank you so much, sir, for such a wonderful and brilliant session. And hoping for such more event like in future with you, and we will also spare at that time also your precious time, and hopefully I expect that you will also join our association very soon. Thank you so much, sir. Such
Thank you.
a wonderful session. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Ma'am, yes, if you don't mind, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
There is one
Yes, sir.
query, I think, in the box. Shall I clarify, sir? Shall I
Of
clarify?
course,
Yes,
of course, sir.
of course, sir.
There
Please
is-
go ahead. Go
there is
ahead.
one clarification I have seen in the box, chat box.
Yes.
Sir, we have one MOU with other abroad institution which was made 2 years before, but not in the name of IQAC, rather in the name of the college. Can we consider it for 6.1? Yes, very well. I do not know. It's Charles or somebody. Yes, Charles, sir. I think it is Charles. One Mr. Charles has asked this clarification. You can very well go ahead, because whether it is in the name of IQAC or in the name of your institution, both are one and the same, nothing to worry. You can make use of this document as a very wonderful document and a reliable document that you have an MOU and conducted some programs in collaboration with the foreign university. So it will be taken, it will be considered for the assessment. Thank you, sir.
We will meet you soon at some other event. Let's conclude the session with national anthem.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल वंदा हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. We'll meet you tomorrow in new session. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All the best. May God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, Professor Devanand, sir, thank you
Sir,
for the opportunity.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was a very wonderful session, sir. So I will call you
Yes, sir.
later. I will
Thank you
call
so
later.
much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you all, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.